I remember people texting me and saying, like, do you hear what happened to Sydney? Is it true? Like,
I check Facebook and all of a sudden there's all these like, I love you, Sydney, RIPs, and I'm like, what?
so I tried calling her. She didn't answer. I tried calling her mom. Her mom didn't answer. And then finally I drove her to her house and she wasn't there.
It was horrible.
She was the most amazing person that I've ever met.
She was never like that person to like put people in a bad mood. She was always trying to put people in a good mood.
She was one of the best people I know. Her heart was so big. I've never met anybody with a heart as big as hers.
We were working on building a tree house in our backyard, and Sydney very much wanted to be involved and help out. And you know, I'm up on a ladder trying to shingle the tree house, and I'm a little nervous being up there. And Sydney climbs up, and she's laying across the roof, nailing shingles, and she didn't have any fear.
She helped us build our treehouse roof, and I remember seeing her out our windows in the backyard on top of the roof, putting in nails.
And then a piece of Sydney that was very unique to her, I think, versus other teenagers, is she still had a very big kid heart.
She was a girl that liked to play, and she likes to ride the swings with me.
We had talked about going to the pumpkin festival, and I told her that I wanted to go. And she was like, yeah, I want to go too.
She runs down the steps, she's got her bag, and she's like, okay, I'm going to Vicky's house, love you, see you tomorrow. I said, okay, not knowing that was going to be.
The last time she ever spoke to me.
That night they were heading back from a pumpkin farm, and they were heading down the highway, and Joe, the passenger, was looking at his cell phone and he felt the car jerk. It hit on the other side of the grassy median and flipped the car over.
I was very close to hitting the car myself, so I kind of closed my eyes. I think it slammed on my brakes, and that's whenever I got out of the car and saw Joseph jump right out, and I realized that he was searching for Sydney. So that's when I started helping him look for her, and I saw Sydney in the ditch.
At that point, still didn't really have a full grasp of what happened. I just knew that it was a vehicle that crossed the median, rolled over, and somebody had been ejected, which me immediately being able to say is that the seatbelt wasn't worn in the case.
I started calling hospital after hospital until finally they answered and told me that she was there.
We were using medications for her blood pressure to keep her heart beating. We were using the ventilator to keep her breathing.
We finally made it to the emergency room, and when the highway patrol people showed up and he said she was ejected from the vehicle, she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. I thought, why? Why did she have it on? And then the ER doctor comes in and he's like, she's very, very sick. She hit her head and we're gonna try to take the swelling down, but where she was hit, it's very unlikely that we're gonna be able to do anything for her.
And then her mom answered the phone at the hospital and told me to come up because she wasn't gonna make it and to come say goodbye.
We knew the whole time that we were at the hospital that we were gonna have to have a conversation with our kids and let them know that she's not coming home. And it was almost like hearing it again, because you're experiencing their brand new grief.
I started crying, and I was crying against my mom and hugging her.
We miss her tremendously. We keep her in our conversations on a daily basis. She's still a very integral part of our lives, even though she's not here.
I miss having fun with her. I miss being friends with her and playing elephants and a lot of stuff like that.
There were still a lot of unanswered questions of why.
A bunch of cops came over and started asking me a bunch of questions like, where were you going, what happened, why did you swerve off the road? And I was just like, I saw that when we were going off the road, she threw her phone.
Start putting everything together and realizing that this is a texting and driving crash. We were able to specifically say it was texting and not anything else.
Learning from this for Sydney, you know, because it affected us as healthcare workers, it affected us as people, it affected us as mothers and aunts and cousins and sisters. This is something that isn't just going to affect you. This is something that it's so preventable. These kids don't need to be so distracted. There's nothing that's important enough that's going to cause you to lose your life. There's not a single thing important enough.
For some reason, she made a bad decision that day. She clearly was touching her phone, and whether it was texting or looking at something on her phone, that caused the accident. And she also made a bad decision not to wear her seatbelt. That's caused her death. Joe was a front passenger in the car. He was wearing his seatbelt. He walked away from the collision. Vicki was a passenger in the rear seat. She had the lap belt on, but she had the shoulder belt behind her back.
I broke my arm, I broke my neck, and I broke my back.
For the longest time, I blamed that whole thing on myself. Like, I could have stopped that if I was not on my phone texting my mom.
I didn't remember the accident. I didn't remember what had happened. I was sorry that I didn't get to tell her bye, or that I loved her, or that she just wasn't going to graduate with us. I was sorry that it even happened.